Man, we have an absolute thriller on our hands today. We are looking at a colossal, ground-shaking shift in the Eastern Conference Semifinals. Forget whatever you thought you knew about how this playoff bracket was going to unfold, because the entire landscape of the East, it's just been flipped completely upside down. We just wear on you. That is what our objective is. Just listen to that statement. That is the chilling, commanding mission statement coming directly from Pistons coach JB Bickerstaff. There's no fluff here, no complicated analytics, just a promise of relentless, exhausting physical basketball. They want to break their opponents down possession by grueling possession. And wow, did they wear them down, 107-97. The Detroit Pistons have absolutely stormed ahead to take a sudden, dominating 2-0 series lead over the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's just breathtaking, honestly. They marched right in, imposed their absolute will on the court, and backed up Game 1's 10-point victory with another stunning 10-point exclamation mark. Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. Pistons take command, from the brink to unstoppable. How exactly did a team that looked so vulnerable just a week ago suddenly become the most dangerous force in the Eastern Conference? Let's take a look. Look at this momentum. 5 straight wins. The top-seeded Detroit Pistons haven't lost a single game since the Orlando Magic pushed them right to the absolute brink of elimination back in the first round. Whatever fear they felt in that series, well, they've weaponized it. They are playing with this uplifting, unstoppable energy. And it's not even just one guy. Tobias Harris was out there pouring in 21 points in this game, making sure the offense just kept humming. They are a completely unified, rolling juggernaut right now. Moving to Part 2, a relentless early pace, the Detroit Blitz. If you blink, you might actually miss them. The Pistons aren't just beating Cleveland, they are sprinting right past them from the opening tip-off. They are totally dictating the speed of the game, forcing the Cavaliers into a chaotic, scrambling defense before they even have a chance to set their feet. I don't think people can keep up with my pace and my speed. Now that is undeniable swagger right there. That's reserve guard Danis Jenkins throwing down the gauntlet. And to be fair, he has every right to talk. Jenkins came flying off the bench to score 14 points, making it his 3rd straight game in double figures. He perfectly captures the aggressive, fearless identity of this Detroit second unit. They aren't just holding the line when the starters sit, they're stepping on the gas. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the numbers perfectly back up that swagger. Look at these massive early leads Detroit built. An 11-point lead in the first quarter, which then swelled to a 14-point lead in the second quarter. They came out of the locker room executing a flawless blitz. The Cavaliers actually made the first shot of the game, and then the Pistons completely took over, suffocating Cleveland and building a massive cushion before halftime. But the Cavs were not done. Part 3, the fourth quarter surge, Cleveland's desperate push. The atmosphere in that arena grew incredibly heavy. You could feel that every single dribble carried the weight of the entire season. Down double digits, the Cavaliers had to dig deeper than they have all year, clawing their way back into the fight, possession by grueling possession. Look at this timeline. The tension here was absolutely suffocating. Right at the 12-minute mark, the fourth quarter opens, and the Cavs immediately reel off the first 6 points. You can practically feel the momentum shifting. Then, early in the fourth, bam! Evan Mobley throws down a massive dunk, and Cleveland takes an 81-79 lead. That was their first lead since the opening bucket. But Detroit answers right back. At 9:40, Duncan Robinson, who was just spectacular with 17 points and 5 three-pointers on the night, hits a massive tie-breaking 3. The back and forth is brutal. The clock bleeds down. And then at 2:12, Cade Cunningham steps back and buries the dagger 3, putting the Pistons up by 9 and completely blowing the roof off the building. Wow. Taking a breath here. Part 4, the 3-point collapse. Cleveland goes cold. Because when the Cavaliers desperately needed an answer to Cunningham's heroics, the rim might as well have been covered in a thick layer of solid ice. Overall, Cleveland shot a miserable 7 of 32 from deep. But the fourth quarter was an absolute nightmare. 0-4-11. The Cavaliers missed every single one of their 11 three-point attempts in the final deciding quarter. You can practically hear the desperation in those clanks off the iron. Max Strus, who dropped 19 points in the series opener, scored just 3 points in Game 2, and he accounted for 4 of those agonizing late-game misses. When the lights were brightest, the Cavaliers' outside shooting completely shattered. Let's put the 2 primary ball handlers side by side for a second. On the left, Cade Cunningham was an absolute maestro. 25 points, 10 assists, and that unbelievably clutch dagger three-pointer. He was in complete control, reading the defense flawlessly. But on the right, oh man, James Harden, just 10 points, a brutal 3 for 13 from the floor, and 4 crushing turnovers, including a back-breaking giveaway with just 33 seconds left when the Cavs were only trailing by 6. It was a really heavy, deflating performance, right when Cleveland needed a superstar to steady the ship. So the crucial point is, where does Cleveland go from here? Section 5, back to the drawing board, looking ahead to Game 3. The Cavaliers are down 2-0, heading home, and they have got to find a way to untangle this mess before their season slips away entirely. You can hear the sheer exhaustion from Cavs coach Kenny Atkinson. I don't know what it is with the start of games. They came out super aggressive, of course, but it's the playoffs. Obviously, we haven't figured that one out. Still back to the drawing board. The frustration is just palpable. They know the Pistons are going to blitz them early, and yet, for 2 straight games, they have been completely overwhelmed right out of the gate. But let's look at Cleveland's reality check, because, it's not all doom and gloom. First, Donovan Mitchell fiercely bounced back from a poor Game 1, dropping 31 points. Jarrett Allen was a monster inside with 22 points and 7 rebounds. They are, however, really feeling the absence of reserve guard Sam Merrill, who's out with a hamstring injury. He's a guy who averaged nearly 13 points in the regular season and gave them some much-needed spacing. But here is the massive silver lining for us to look at. The Cavs are going home, and they are a perfect 4-0 at home in these playoffs, having swept their home games against Toronto back in the first round. So here is the question we are all left hanging on as we look towards Saturday. Can the Cavaliers protect their fortress and hold serve on their home court in Game 3? Or is the momentum of this unstoppable Detroit Pistons machine going to crash through those arena doors and sweep them away for good? It all comes down to how they respond to the blitz. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you after Game 3.